Ashes of Creation and Pax Dei, the future of gaming. Let's see it.
What up, boys? So, after witnessing Ashes of Creation's development over the last 3 years, seeing Baldur's Gate 3 end up in a Game of the Year state, and then watching NCSoft try to scramble around last minute to fix a game that nobody asked for,
what is NCSoft and what game did they make?
it's made me realize open development is a very viable and preferable way forward for gaming. At least,
Could be, yeah.
in my opinion. And today, I'm going to talk about this in relation to Ashes of Creation and Pax Dei. But before we get into that, our beautiful patrons and coped out the wazoo Twitch subs and I would love for you to grab yourself a Coca-Cola, because open development obviously isn't for everyone. And when
Probably.
it comes to a project that's
But open development can be good. Ashes of Creation, when we saw the homesteads were good. But man, when we saw the stupid, redundant, idiotic Tetris system of resources that no one liked in the first even millisecond of seeing it, man, that's where open development shines. Because dude, I don't think such obvious mistakes like, for example, the Tetris stupid inventory system with the shrinking icons, woobly boobly things, should ever be in the game in the first place. Open development can be great at catching out problems that should not be in the game in the first place, you know? Because when you're making something, it's really easy to get hyped about it, and it turns out it's not the best thing ever. It's just the fact that you were hyped about it, you were in it, and you spend a lot of time in it, so you didn't want to see that it's bad. And it ends up being bad. That's why open development can work, because developers are susceptible to that. Even if they're doing everything with the idea, yeah, we're going to make a good game, people are going to like it, they can still go down the wrong track because, you know, they just don't see their mistakes.
huge as an MMO, open development can come across as a double-edged sword. However,
Also,
the
true.
negatives far outweigh the positives in my opinion, and today I'm going to attempt to convince you that I am not completely brain dead.
Wait, did he say the negatives outweigh the positives? One of the biggest negatives is the fact that, you know, devs take the criticism in the wrong way. Second, the devs take the criticism personally, so they start to ignore all of the criticism, and they start to hate their own player base before it pops up. And that's pretty much it. It's just people taking it the wrong criticism the wrong way. That's the only flaw in, well, you know, open development. No, actually there's one more. The fact that hype can actually dry up for open development. Because, you know, you're seeing all these things. At first it was cool, but then it kind of gets stale because you have already seen so much of it and it doesn't seem interesting. I guess that's the second, like, big thing.
Now, with all that bollocks out of the way, let's begin, shall we? So, it's no secret that corporate-led games over the last 15 years or so have slowly drained the soul out of gaming. Companies are no longer willing to take risks, the games that come out are very safe and uninspired, with the exception of a few, of course, and monetization has...
Elden Ring was as safe and as... Dude, Elden Ring is literally the Dark Souls version of the Dark Souls games that you have played in Dark Souls. Dude, there was nothing Dude, tell me a single thing that was innovative about Elden Ring. It was just a good Dark Souls type game with zero innovation. No, please. Tell me something new that Elden... Oh, a horse. Yeah, it gave you a horse. Okay, tell me a second new thing that Elden Ring did. Because there's not going to be anything, okay? Because Elden Ring doesn't do anything unique. It's as predictable and as safe as it can be.
become a huge push over an actual well-made game. Pre-orders, microtransactions, optional subscriptions, and cosmetics to label them all in their entirety. However, since about 10 years ago or so, a new era began to slowly grow within the gaming space. Early access games. These were indie developers oozing with passion but lacked the funding to get their game off the ground, and although the idea of charging for an unfinished game back in the early days was frowned upon, it seems that has become the norm for AAA companies nowadays, as huge, multi-billion-dollar franchises release with so many bugs that you'd think they were inspired by Chronicles of Valeria. But this becoming the norm for AAA has allowed the gaming community as a whole to accept the early access way of development, as this method has delivered us some of the most amazing games in history. Terraria, Don't Starve, Subnautica, and the latest game added to the legendary indies, Valheim. Interestingly, you'll notice that all of these games are from the survival genre, but there is a history of non-survival games succeeding as well. Surely.
The reason why survival games, I would say, thrive a little bit more in this is because that survival games are more niche than other types of games, and there's a lot more innovation that you can actually do in a survival game versus something like an FPS shooter or something. Well, what's the new thing you're gonna implement to an FPS? Yeah, that's right, nothing. A grapple hook? Tell abilities, mate. No, that has been already done 15 trillion times. But survival games, oh, you can kind of experiment with them a little bit more how you want to mix and match things.
Right? Which brings us to the present. Unfortunately, as early access became accepted by the masses, many projects appeared on the scenes that didn't have good intentions.
Wow.
Kickstarter was the home for most of these, and we are still yet to have a successful Kickstarter project actually release. Actually, after a little research, it turns out Pathfinder Kingmaker was kickstarted and released in 2018, and I'm sure you'll let me know of some others in the comments. Oh, hey, speaking of Kickstarters that have yet to release, let's talk about Ashes of Creation. Nobody is denying that the last 2 years of their open development have been fantastic. We've pretty much seen all of the systems in the game now working well, signifying the approach of that highly anticipated Alpha 2. We've also had some fantastic teasers without spoiling anything significant, and the insight to...
Okay, the reason why Ashes of Creation is super hype, it's because it's gonna be an absolutely massive open world. Second of all, you're going to be able to mix and match classes. You're going to have your default rogues, warriors, priests, rangers, mages, warlocks, and things like that. But you're going to be able to pick a second class. Yeah. And you can mix and match those classes. You can be a rogue warrior, a rogue warlock, a warlock mage, a priest warrior. And then you create a new class from that. Or you can be a warrior, which allows you to get more warrior skills, I think, I'm not sure. But it's pretty cool. So this is one of those are the two big reasons why people are excited for Ashes of Creation.
How much work goes into an MMORPG has really taught me to respect what was released in the past. But as of this week, a new game has arrived on the scene that has taken the MMO community by storm with a different style of development that isn't quite as involved as Ashes of Creation, which means now we can talk about something that actually exists. Pax Dei's first alpha test began a few days ago, and I'll admit I am...
Yeah. We saw his video on this, and it seems like people are super hyped about Pax Dei. And the only information about Pax Dei that I saw was his 9-minute video on it. Okay, and I have to say, he sold it as the greatest thing to ever happen while showing the absolute most basic things. It's just. Pax Dei, the way he showed it, is just an Unreal 5 character in a world that looks pretty good. Bad gathering animations, which by the way is sus. Because honestly, from what he showed, Pax Dei looks more like, Day of the Dragons, if you know that one. Yeah, that's a legendary scam at this point, right? Pax Dei looked more like Day of the Dragons than anything else. But a lot of people called me stupid and wrong. Even though they did not understand, I completely rated the Pax Dei game based on what he showed, and he did not show anything impressive at all. He just showed basic graphics and bad animations. So, you know, I haven't seen anything else, but a lot of people are saying Pax Dei's amazing. I don't believe you. Until I see actually super hardcore cool gameplay that's really innovative, I'm not gonna buy that, okay? Simple as that.
I am completely addicted to it for a few important reasons. The general vibe of the test is very polished, the test itself is fairly fleshed out with a plethora of gathering, crafting, and building content, and the playable world space is extremely huge. For context, it takes about 2 hours to actually run from one side of the playable space to the other, and by God, the Unreal Engine 5 graphics definitely make that an enjoyable.
Okay, so it's like World of Warcraft. Well, actually, no, it's less than... Maybe it's... World of Warcraft from down to up running is 2 hours also.
Experience. Now, although Pax Dei is taking a very similar open development route to Ashes of Creation, that would be showing us early iterations of their alpha gameplay, fixing bugs as we report them, and just listening to the players' feedback in general, they're doing it in a much different way to Intrepid. Pax Dei first announced itself back in March this year, and pretty much went dark to the general public up until 3 days ago. They did indeed release a couple of vlog-type videos that gave us some nice insight into their studio, a small glimpse at the direction the game is heading, but absolutely nothing like Ashes of Creation's monthly deep dives, and that's okay. Mainframe have kept most of their information strictly to their inner Discord community and getting feedback from their friends and family alpha testers. And that's resulted in the product that we see today. So this much less public method is also a very viable option for success.
Yeah, it looks good, but again, we're calling this an MMO. This is not well, it's not the MMO that I would expect. I don't know. Yeah, someone needs to actually show me the real good stuff that is supposed to sell Pax Dei to me, because currently it doesn't look impressive. Like, it looks good, but you need to understand that that's just the engine at work. That it's just basic default engine assets. It's not actually unique. I could probably watch a 1 hour tutorial and make the same thing.
Now, let me get one thing straight here. I am by no means trying to pit these two games together. I am a huge MMORPG fan and also a survival game enjoyer, and I don't even think Pax Dei is trying to appeal to the same audience as Ashes of Creation anyway. You see,
Obviously,
people in my
yes.
personal community have expressed that they're not really a fan of Pax.
Yeah, look at this. Oh, by the way, now you have damage numbers and the bot going here.
Dei's survival-esque gameplay.
You see, I see shit like this and I'm like, okay, am I supposed to really root for this? Is this supposed to be impressive? The fact that someone added these numbers and still kept the stupid wheel is just like mind-boggling to me. That is incompetence at its finest.
Play focus, and I'm sure there are people within the Pax Dei community who are not a fan of the MMORPG leveling gameplay. Believe it or not, it's okay to like
and the animation is bad. Again, man, you really need to I need to see something really amazing about this Pax Dei thing to get it sold to me, because currently everything this guy right here, Narc, is showing is just making the Pax Dei look bad.
Different types of games. I'm sure that's a foreign concept to most of you. The thing that really keeps my hopes up for both Pax Dei and Ashes of Creation is that both of these developers are in such a unique position, being open and transparent about the state of their game and the direction that they want to go with it, whilst allowing the community to express feedback and then actively make changes. Ashes of Creation displayed this in abundance during Alpha 1 and over the last 2 years, but now it's time for Mainframe to show us that they're listening. And, much like with Ashes of Creation's Alpha 1, the Mainframe devs have released 2 major patches already that's fixed some glaring bugs. And
glaring bugs?
don't even get me started on the upcoming combat.
Wait, was that it though? Okay. So, Patch notes, November 16th.
Two
Is this the major bug fixes? Fix an issue where players chopping trees. Okay, so this is not major updates or fixes or whatever you want to. What did he even call them?
And, much like with Ashes of Creations Alpha 1, the mainframe devs have released 2 major patches already.
Yeah, so he's just calling this major patches. What are you okay, dude? Patch notes November 15. Is this a major patch? It's fucking 5 lines. Fix the issue causing significant rendering performance degradation, especially around density built areas. Fix the iteral concern. Yeah, this is not a fix. Well, this is a fix, but this is not a major patch.
Devs have released 2.
Yeah, nothing of this is just
major patches
November 17 is bigger.
Already.
But this is just like adjustment. Tweak the numbers of something. Steel studs delivers 10 instead of 1. I don't know what this means. I think this is crafting.
That's fixed.
Yeah, but
some glaring bugs.
Look at this. Yeah, this is not big. This is not big.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, you see what I mean? When you're gonna tell me that, oh, look at these huge, there were already 3 massive patches that completely fixed the game. And in reality, every patch is just like 2 things fixed that shouldn't have been honestly broken in the beginning because they're like the main core of your game. And the 3rd patch was actually bigger, but it's just a bunch of crafting changes. And it's not like actually adding new crafting or something like that. It's just tweaking the X amounts of what you get from crafting, it seems like. Yeah, when you're gonna overhype something like that, I'm just not gonna believe you. Dude, Narc is just completely destroying my hopes for Pax Dei. He is so extremely woefully misrepresenting what he is showing here. It's insane.
On the upcoming combat overhaul, I cannot wait to see the future of this game. Now, to conclude, I just want to talk about the timescale because I think it's important to look at the future of these 2 games and reflect upon both of their development times. Pax Dei started development in 2019, likely spending the majority of that time concepting their ideas, recruiting devs for their team, and planning out the in-depth crafting mechanics that we see in-game today. However, as
these crafting mechanics, by the way, are already just blatant copy-pastes of already existing games, so there's nothing to contemplate here. This is not unique for crafting.
As Pax Dei announced after Unreal Engine 5 released, I suspect the majority of this game's development cycle has been made within.
Yeah, look at this. The little boxes, the white boxes next to gear is just tiers. Most likely, at least.
Unreal Engine 5. The use of nanite and...
Yeah, you see this? You see that? Oh, no, it's... Oh, wait, it actually just says tier. Yeah, so... It's just basic stuff. Gather things, make stuff, bam. This is not unique.
Lumen in this game has really, truly blown me away, and you can tell that the game has been built from the ground up to utilize that. However, Ashes of Creation is in a bit of a rough spot. Due to the sheer scope of the game, it's already been nearly 7 years, and we still don't even have an announcement date for their 2nd public alpha test. They teased that they will announce which quarter it will be in during this month's stream, but that still doesn't change the fact that we don't have an actual date. But personally, I think the time that it's taken Ashes of Creation so far is absolutely well on pace with what we expect from a full-scope MMORPG. It takes just a moment to analyze the difference in scope for these 2 projects. Ashes is featuring a 64 class system, a fully customizable weapon system, an innovative node system with player-driven mechanics, a huge 1.2 thousand kilometer squared world with oceans and boats and caravan, and the game's scope is absolutely massive. Pax Dei almost pales in comparison. But that, my friends, is exactly my point. These two games, they're not trying to compete with each other. They exist within entirely different genres.
No, obviously. One is an MMO, the other one is Rust, but with better graphics, it seems like.
And only share one particular aspect, the massively multiplayer part. So, I hope everyone shares my sentiment when I say I'm genuinely looking forward to the future of both of these games.
When you say MMO survival, I'm thinking more like World of Warcraft. When you say survival, I'm actually thinking of what Pax Dei currently is. I don't think they're even selling the idea of MMO survival correctly. Because let's face it, what does MMO mean? Massive multiplayer online or something like that? Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything. That actually tells me that that I'm gonna be a wizard. That's what it tells me. I'm not a fan.
I think I will pick up Pax Dei on this channel, keep you all updated like I do with Ashes of Creation, and play their tests whenever they drop because I want both of these games to succeed. I have a plethora of ideas and feedback for Mainframe, just like I do for Ashes of Creation, so I hope you guys will join me as we embark on a parallel journey to watch Pax Dei become a survival MMO that absolutely takes their whole genre by storm. But as usual, I am just one nerd, desperate for a good MMO, and I really...
Yeah, the desperation is kind of like palpable here, okay? Well, anyway, that was not... I mean... Man, he does a bad job, in my opinion, at selling Pax Dei as, you know, a non-scam even at this point. Well... Leave in the comments what kind of video... There's probably something that actually does show a decent Pax Dei, like everything. Because people got pretty mad when I said, oh, the game doesn't look good from what he's showing. And it doesn't. And it still doesn't. But a lot of people were like, oh, no, it's actually super good. I mean, is everyone just huffing? Or what's happening here? Because it seems a little bit off, not gonna lie. But anyway, this was Quizzer Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.